the mindset and attitude of the citizens.
Mm,
They are proud of their nation, no matter how bad people would want to paint it or portray them to be. So I think first of all, it's the mindset change, right?
mm,
If we believe in Ghana, we believe that things can work. It will definitely work.
mm.
There is also, like they always say, when it comes to maintenance and stuff, we are not very good with it. So we're able to, put up some very good infrastructure, but our maintenance culture is poor, and then it ends up, going bad and all that.
Fine like that, Wada Jim. Welcome back to my channel. Very soon, I'll be introducing my guest to share his experiences in China. If it's something you like to watch, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hi! Chairman the chairman.
Mama C, the one and only.
Oh, okay. Nice to have you on my channel.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. You're doing a
Mm,
great job. So I had no
thank
choice.
you.
I had to come. This is the place to be now. So
Yes, yes, yes,
here,
yes,
here,
yes.
here I am. Yeah.
Anyway, do you mind introducing yourself to us?
Okay. So I'm Felix Ado. Obviously, Ado is my family name or last name,
Yeah.
as people would say. I'm a Ghanaian, and I'm, yeah, I love football. And so those who love football, they know that I'm a very ardent supporter of Barcelona. And then when you
Oh,
come to
okay.
Ghana, I'm an Accra Hasselhoff fan, so phobia.
Mm,
I'm easygoing. I completed my graduate studies PhD in environmental engineering 2 years ago,
mm,
obviously in China, and
yeah.
currently co-founder of EcoAmid Solutions with two of my
Okay.
friends.
Okay.
So I'll say, yeah, and I'm a Christian. So
Mm,
uh, I believe that as we go on, I would say more about myself, but briefly, this is who I am. Yeah,
okay.
thank
And
you.
currently residing in Canada.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So you mentioned you did your PhD here in China, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I know you from way back master's time when you were doing your master's here.
That's right.
Do you mind telling us the name of the schools or the school you attended here in China?
Okay, so I attended Ohio University, which is in Nanjing.
Hmm.
Yes, and that's why I did both my master's and PhD studies.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I would say to me, it's the best university in China.
In
So,
China.
I mean, those who disagree, like they say, you can go and
Argue with your
hug a
your your
transformer.
screens. Anyway,
Yeah.
but well, I've been to two schools in China. For me, those two schools are the best. So are you trying to tell me to hack the transformer?
You can go and do that, but make sure you are not electrocuted.
I know, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
why China? Why did you decide to pursue a postgraduate degree here in China?
Okay, so I would say that let me take it back. After my undergraduate studies,
Mm,
I worked for a while in the civil service, but I always had the plans to do my master's and subsequently a PhD if
mm,
the opportunity came by.
mm,
So I had a friend who was my senior in the secondary school or high school, as we would say now,
yeah,
and he was in China. He was in Shanghai Ocean University.
yeah.
So he got in touch with me and told me about we had some previous discussions. So he told me about this opportunity at Ohio University, and
Mm,
obviously there was some form of scholarship. And so I think the first reason was based on funding and tuition fee comparatively to other places that I had sought to have my master's. So
Mm.
I believe these were the two main reasons. Having somebody in China who was already there and who understood their system and also
Yeah.
the funding or the education that they had, and he had informed me about how they put much emphasis on high or quality research. So it was
Mm.
something that I was interested in. I put in the application, and yeah, so as they say, that was how the whole journey started. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So was coming to China the first time you ever traveled outside Ghana?
Yes, that was my first travel outside of Ghana. Yeah.
Mm. And then how was the experience like traveling
So
from
the
Ghana to
experience
China?
is
Mm.
okay, so I think obviously you are not coming there with your family, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
you are going to be on your own. I think expectations of how everything is going to be, because it's the first time I was traveling outside of Ghana.
Mm.
So I think those were the thoughts, right? And I
Yeah.
knew that the weather was obviously going to be different.
Mm.
The food and a whole lot of things would not be the same. So
Mm.
these were the thoughts that, came to mind. But I think that he helped in a way because I spoke with him and he told me things that I should expect. I had to
Mm.
ask him the type of clothes I should bring. If there was any need to, traveling, you bring food and all these things to last you for some time. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that was what came up. And then when I go to China, I believe the first thing was how beautiful the country looked,
Mm.
and yeah, it was exciting, um, having traveled not traveled before by train and all those things. Like you see the subway, as we
Mm.
call it, the
Yeah.
buildings, the roads. Yeah, so that was like because what I had seen on TV and all that, sometimes this media stuff. So,
Yeah.
but you get there and then you see things for yourself, and you know that
Mm.
okay, So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, okay. Um, Before coming to China, did you have any perceptions?
So this is funny, but you know how we watch we watched Chinese movies when we were
Mm.
younger, and we
Yeah.
always felt they all looked the same,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
I think that was one.
Mm.
Um, I think it was also, like I said, the media, how their political system is and all that, which is very
Mm.
different from that of Ghana.
Yeah.
So yes, and then I would say also talk about the type of food that we
Mm.
had that people eat there, right? Not
Yeah.
as in bad, but I
Mm.
mean these were obviously different from what
Yeah,
we
used to.
are
Yeah.
known to
Mm.
also eat in our country and
Mm.
all that. So yeah, those were some of the things that I had heard and views or perceptions that I had, yeah, with
Mm.
regards to my visit there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So earlier on, you mentioned some expectations. Did China meet your expectations?
I think it's if there's a word like overmet in quotes, that's what I'll use. It
Yeah.
was my first view. So I
Mm.
arrived there very late at
Mm.
dawn. So I think that night was only some part of the airport that I saw. So in the
Mm.
morning, like you wake up, you go out, you see the campus, how beautiful the university was, well planned, beautiful buildings, the environment, the aesthetics was very nice. And
Mm.
then when I had to leave, so I left Shanghai the next day.
Yeah.
So from the campus, like I said, Shanghai Ocean University to the Shanghai Railway Station
Mm.
route to Nanjing, having the buildings, how good they look, like very well planned, right? The
Mm.
the subway system, the buildings, how flashy they look, the roads, perfect in my opinion, and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so I believe that I was really happy to be there. Yeah.
Mm. No, okay.
Yeah.
Any stereotypes?
Um, well, none that I can remember of.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned that you did your master's and PhD here, and I assume you did your first degree in Ghana. If you are to compare the educational systems in both countries, are there any differences? Are there any similarities?
So I would say that the differences would lie in the practicality of
Mm,
the studies, the tools, the equipment, because my study was more of scientific based. And so you
mm,
would have to work in the laboratory, you would have to go to the field, take some samples, come back, test them, and all that. The kinds of softwares we needed for the analysis, these were not things that I was used to. So I even
yeah.
had to, buckle up and
Mm,
study some of these softwares that we had had in our studies back home
yeah.
that we had not really uh, used before or had
Yeah.
any practice with. So I think I would say their attitude to research, the
Mm,
practicality or the practical nature of their studies, and the emphasis that they put on quality in terms
mm,
of the research that you do, the outcome, and how it can be used to solve real time problems.
yeah. Okay.
So I believe that that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you are in China and then you realize that you are not only in the midst of Ghanaians, but you get to meet people from other countries as well. How was the feeling like?
And so I think it was overwhelming, right? To see a lot of people at one place, I mean, to see people whom you cannot communicate effectively with
Mm,
because language was a barrier. And
yeah.
um, also, the food as well, right?
Yeah.
Having to adapt and
Mm,
get to understand everything that goes on, how they go about their things, because then I had to learn some things and, you know, get to understand or know new things. Like I said,
mm,
you watch Chinese movies and you think everyone looks the same. You get there and you find out that, oh, that is not actually the case,
yeah.
right? People would see you, they take pictures of you, videos of you, like very interesting because you don't know
Mm,
what's going on.
yeah.
So whether you're a celebrity or I mean, you know that feeling, right? I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that experience.
Mm,
So yeah, I had to understand why some of these things happened. And like I said, there are people that we spoke to also understand how to uh, acclimatize and immerse ourselves into the society that we were in at that time.
mm, yeah.
So I think that's what I would say on that. Yeah.
No, okay. No, okay. Um, you mentioned food.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Chinese food?
So I think the easiest and the best one for me, I am not picky when it comes to food, but I think
Mm.
my favorite was Nero Tudomi fan, right? Beef,
Oh,
potato with
potatoes.
rice.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So
okay.
I think that was it most of the time. But of course, there were times that I mean, the boy said Juan Minje was the best. So we
Mm,
had this
mm,
place that if you really want to have Juan Minje, I think in the Gulo area that we
mm,
went to enjoy that. And there was also one popular joint in Jianin. Yeah,
mm,
so I would say these two, but
mm,
I was okay with most of the new foods that I had to eat. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Earlier on, you mentioned your work or your schoolwork was lab based, right? I did a bit of lab, um, yes, during my undergraduate days. And using the equipment and the machines in the lab, I always needed someone to guide me because it was mostly in Chinese. Or someone had to, take my samples and run them for me. How easy or how difficult was it for you to be able to use these machines or equipment in the lab?
Yeah. So just like you said, it was not that easy at first
Mm,
because most of the equipment had their instructions in Chinese. So
mm,
what my supervisor or my professor did was that we understudied the Chinese students. I
mm,
think it didn't really matter whether you were doing masters and the person who could instruct or teach you was
mm,
a level below you. But the most important thing was for you to understand how these equipment work.
mm,
So that's how it started. And then we also tried to get the English version of some of these methodologies so
mm,
that we could, try them on our own practice on our own. And
mm,
so that's how we were, the onboarding that we had. So there was a
mm,
training from our colleagues. Once in a while, you had a lab technician coming to check that whatever was going on was actually being done correctly or appropriately so as
mm,
not to ensure there are any unnecessary accidents in the
mm,
lab. So
mm,
that's how we started. And I believe that with time and practice, we became used to these machines, the calibrations, and then we were able to handle some of the experiments on our own. The
mm,
ones that we could not handle in our labs, it was sent out for further analysis. And then
mm.
once you have the data, you'll be able to do um, the data analysis yourself, get your results, draw your conclusions. So I think this is how we went about things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Um, how good is your Chinese?
Um,
I'm putting you on the
I'm
spot.
shy to say I'm shy to say this. I knew this question was going to come up. I think not that good. Unfortunately,
Mm,
learning new languages have never been my I'll say my expertise or a
mm,
good quality that I have because I think even back in Ghana, with all the numerous local languages that we had, I
mm,
could speak just about two
mm.
or so aside English. So my Chinese, I would say, is basic. I can always speak it in my head, but when it's time for me to, voice it out, then I am found wanting. So yeah, for some of the expressions,
Mm,
we understand them, but
yeah.
I wouldn't say that I am fluent, unfortunately. But once in a while, I try to look up some words
Mm.
and all. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I asked about the language because I'm eager to know how were you communicating with your supervisor?
So fortunately for me, there was this program that I think our department had, College of Environment, right, that
Mm,
they had, where when professors were associates, like associate professors, they had to do like a 1 year study in an
mm,
English speaking country. So my professor had his in the USA, I think somewhere in Florida. So
mm.
he was quite fluent. He
Yeah.
understood, he was able to write, maybe not, uh, as fluent as somebody who had spoken English all his life,
Mm,
but
yeah.
we could communicate, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
I think for me, that was not a major challenge or barrier
mm,
when it came to communicating with him. Yes.
mm. Yeah, okay. Okay. Um, were you here with family?
No,
Mm.
I was
So
all alone. But
all
I mean, I
alone.
met people that now I can call family.
Yeah. We'll come there anyway.
Right.
So, how was it like to be here without family?
So I think one of the good things was that I had not come there at a very young age.
Mm,
Obviously, I had experienced life. Uh, like I said, I was
mm,
already working. So I had some form of experience
yeah.
of staying away from family because of work and schooling and all that, right? So
Mm,
it was not that, it wasn't much of a problem. Thankfully, I think I met people, I mean, from Ghana and some other places who were also cool to hang out with,
yeah.
and
Mm,
that really helped. So, not a necessarily blood related family, but I had met people there that, you know, became family, right?
mm,
Yes.
mm. No, okay. Um, how was it like to be a foreigner here in China?
Okay, so I think being a foreigner came with its challenges, but
Mm,
also it had incredible opportunities.
mm,
Most of the people we found were curious and welcoming.
yeah.
There was always something new to learn,
Mm,
whether navigating the local markets, understanding, like I said, the cultural customs or the language, right?
yeah.
So sometimes you would be in the subway and you see people with their phones trying to take pictures and videos of you, and you would
Mm,
wonder what's going on because it wasn't
yeah.
something that we are used to. I mean, sometimes you go to the market and you'd have to find a way to speak with them.
Mm,
So you are using a translator because you want to buy something like vegetables or something, you don't
yeah.
know the right name. So you'd have
Mm,
to use a translator, right?
yeah.
But then there were
Yeah.
also advantages like opportunities, like I said, because sometimes you got some good or nice treatment because they knew you are not from there. It wasn't
Mm,
easy, so you got some favors as well.
yeah.
Sometimes they don't treat you like how they would treat um, the natives. So we
Mm,
also had an advantage in that way as well. And that
mm,
was how we were able to navigate. But then there were some people that you meet and they'll tell you you are in China, you have to speak Chinese, right? So
mm,
that was like an encouragement to also try and learn some words that you will be
mm.
able to communicate in. Yeah, so that's what I'll say. It was both sides. It had its challenges, but there were also great opportunities as well. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I know that Felix engaged in student politics. Would you like to say something about student politics?
So I think that's an interesting question. I had
Mm,
always been fascinated with, how best we can serve in any way that we can within the
yeah.
community that we find ourselves. So the student politics actually started with Nooks Nanjing,
Mm,
and I think for me, I didn't really know about it, but a friend contacted me and said, "Oh, this is what was going to happen. So are you interested?"
mm,
Right. So I think the question I asked was, I mean, who are the other contenders?
yeah.
Right. And I got to know another good friend of mine was also going to vie for the presidency. So I said, okay,
Mm,
then because of him, I would vie for a vice president and be
yeah.
able to support him. So that's
Mm,
how it started. And I believe this was in 2016, 2017.
yeah.
So, I mean, even before that time in Hoha University, we had decided to set up like a welfare um, fund or something like that to help ourselves.
Mm,
So I was actually the first chairman of that committee to help assist Ghanaian students
mm,
in Hawaii University. So fast
mm,
forward in 2019, there was going to be the national elections, Nooks China. And
mm,
so I think based on my experience and what I had learned, I decided to also file for that position, God being so good. I was elected, and I think that is where I found myself
Mm.
2, 3 years after
Yeah.
serving at the local level. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. How was the experience like?
So the experience, I would say it was challenging
Mm.
because it was during my time that we had the COVID pandemic. I
Mm.
think 3, 4 months into um, being in office or being elected, we had COVID. We
Yeah.
had lots of plans, and
Mm.
Nook's activities are mostly in person. And
Mm.
here we found ourselves not being able to meet. And so we had to re-strategize and see the best way to continue having interactions, right? So it was also a time that the activism of students and all that, the interest of students had gone down. So, like they say now, we had to reset or rebrand.
Mm.
So my team and I had to we had to, think outside of the box.
Mm.
Thankfully, I think Zoom was already there, but became more known during the COVID time.
Yeah.
So we had lots of programs in collaboration with the Ghana Mission or the Ghana Embassy
Mm.
through His Excellency Edward Boateng. So we had this series or webinars where we invited distinguished Ghanaian nationals in different sectors to speak with students,
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that we were able to do during my term to ensure that we have some vibrancy. Then there
Mm.
was also a challenge we met with regards to students at the epicenter then in Wuhan who had called for evacuation because, like we all know, COVID came with its own issues and challenges. We had to deal
Mm.
with that. We're having like a 48-hour meeting every day, and finally we were able to do that. There was also through the Ghana government and also through our collaborations with other institutions, we're able to get some supplies for Ghanaian students in almost every part of China, not everyone, but almost. We're
Mm.
also able to draw people into the union. We had regular meetings. We had to put in a system like a COVID report system on our website um, where students could contact us and tell us the issues they were going through. We're able to procure the services of mental health experts who spoke with students who were going through some form of depression or stress during
Mm.
that whole lockdown
Yeah.
program. We're also able to come up with the African Beyond Age uh, conference, which is still ongoing and even
Mm.
doing better than we started. We're the pioneers of that conference. So it was an exciting experience. It had its stressful moments where people had so much expectation of you, but they didn't realize that you were also human like them. I mean, equally a student, because I had to combine academic work and also serving as a student leader. But all in all, I think that I learned how to manage things during disasters and difficult moments such as COVID. And so this would be my takeout from that
Mm.
period. And
Mm.
thankfully, we're able to hand over to the next team, told them our experiences. They also carried on, and I think Nux China is doing well now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Guys, NUCS is National Union of Ghanaian Students. So if you heard NUCS, that's what it meant. Yeah. Felix, you also mentioned you were co-founder of Eco and Net. Do you mind telling us a bit about it?
Yeah, so EcoAmet is an environmental consulting and services company that was
Mm.
set up in 2019, November 2019, with two friends, David Ewusi and Frank Mante, who
Yeah.
are the other co-founders.
Mm.
So we had always, thought of starting something, and
Mm.
so it was a conversation that was ongoing, and finally we settled on that. obviously based on my background. Um, and that of David as well. And then Frank also came in with the IT background. So basically, we are into environmental research, we're into
mm,
consulting, wastewater treatment, uh, solid waste management, and also plastic waste and all that. I mean, plastic pollution being part of waste management as well, and all other I'll say, well, sometimes environmental related projects.
mm,
Yeah, so that's what we've been doing for the past 5 or 6 years now. I think just about a year or two ago, we worked on a project with Aim Plus, which is a Spanish company that was working on plastic recycling standards in Ghana
mm,
in collaboration with the Standards Authority, Ghana Standards Authority. So we were the local consulting agent. It was a World Bank funded project. So that's what we've been doing. So at EcoAmet, we have two main teams, the AFRISA, and they basically are doing research in the within the African context on environmental issues. And then we have the EIT, Environmental team, innovative team. So this is working on coming up with innovative ideas to solve everyday environmental challenges that we
mm,
have. Yeah. So I'll say in summary, this is what EcoAmet is doing within the environmental space. Yeah.
mm. Yeah, okay. Guys, so Echo Ahmed has a YouTube channel. I'll link it so you subscribe to them, and they have interesting videos that you can watch if you are an environmental lover. Yes, you really enjoy watching them.
We
Um,
actually also give, let me add this, we have a
mm,
MEC blog post where we give opportunity to people who are interested in environmental issues to write their mind. It's like a
yeah.
blog. So write what you think about issues, what your expectations are in solving, environmental issues. You send to us and we publish on our website. So
Mm,
I'd like to say that we welcome such write-ups and articles and all that to be able to
mm,
share. I believe that with the current environmental issues that we are having, we all have to come together to be able to, solve them one way or the other. Yeah.
mm. Okay. During your days in China, did you ever travel back to Ghana?
Yes, I did. I traveled back to Ghana and to some other places as well.
Hmm. I'm laughing because of the to some other place because we went together.
Uh, yes, 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 yes. Some very good memories. I mean,
Yes.
very memorable moments, right?
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Aside traveling to other parts of the world, did you ever travel within China?
Yes, I did. I was in Xiamen, I was in Guangzhou, I was in Shanghai, obviously. Uh, I was in, uh, I've forgotten the name of the city,
Hmm.
but I think it was in Shandong province.
Is
And
it Jinan?
I think Jinan.
Mm.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
also to Yiwu.
You. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these
Mm.
are some of the few places I can recollect.
Mm. Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And then to Beijing as well. To
yeah,
Beijing.
Beijing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, were there any similarities in these cities that you visited or any differences?
I think each city was quite unique and known for
Mm.
some specific activity.
Mm.
So some people will say, well, in Nanjing, well known for education. You go to you, maybe retail, wholesale
Business. Yeah.
industry, in clothing and all that. You go to Shandong is known for some specific activity, yes.
Mm.
But of course, like I said, the level of development was similar, right? The
Yeah.
high-rising building, the infrastructure, and all that. Yeah. So these were things that I found to be common, but each city was known for something specific that when you mention, people are able to say, okay, we know this place is known for that and all that.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Any bad experiences in China?
Um, do I say it's bad or
Mm,
it's good? I'm just trying to. So I think one time there was this. I had gone somewhere. It was in the summer, and the weather was very hot. So I was in the bus.
mm,
Obviously, I had to stand in because sometimes some of the buses are packed, and there was this old man who was making an indication like an illustration sort of pointing outside of the bars to something in
mm,
the sky, and I didn't understand at first.
mm,
So then later I just I just tried to look at what he was trying to point at, and he was pointing to the sun and touching
mm.
his skin. So I think obviously he was trying to say
You were
what
burnt
may
by
have
the
caused
sun.
my skin to be dark or to be bad. I mean, it was funny because then
Mm,
he's an old man,
mm,
and I believed that he was only trying. Maybe if he was also able to communicate effectively with me, he would have asked me whatever question that he wants to ask me at
mm,
that time. I,
mm,
I I believe at that moment it was a bit of a mixed feeling, but later it was something that I laughed over because it was yes, something interesting. I think on top
mm,
of my head, that's what I would remember. And then what else? I think basically that's it. And then sometimes maybe you go to, like I said, you go to an office where because you are not fluent in English, you wanted to find out if somebody spoke English, and they will keep telling you that, yeah, in China, you have to speak Chinese. You get it.
mm,
But
mm,
I felt that was also a way to encourage us to learn the language. Yeah. So
mm.
that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any good memories from China?
Oh, yes. I mean, a lot of memories. I mean, in terms of even schooling academics, the things
Mm,
that we learned, like I said, that equips you for life to, make you better in your area of studies.
mm,
Uh, I would also speak about the amenities in terms of transportation excellent because there are lots of different modes that you could choose from, right?
mm, mm,
Also the food as well. There were several foods that you could choose from. If you wanted to eat out or have some good time with your friends. Uh, and there was also that aspect of the sporting facilities that they had that you could
yeah.
enjoy the gym, the football pitches, the astroturfs, and all that. So, and aside that, the very good friends that, I met, and like I
Mm,
said, the traveling outside of China experience with you and some other good friends, so these are memories that you keep with you for the
mm,
rest of your life. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Coming from Ghana, you mentioned you like the infrastructure, the rules, and everything. Like the fact that China is developed, although they say they are still developing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's very
Um,
interesting.
very, very interesting. Do you think Ghana could learn something from China? Is there anything you wish you could take back to Ghana?
Yes, I think first of all, it's the mindset and attitude of the citizens.
Mm,
They are proud of their nation, no matter how bad people would want to paint it or portray them to be. So I think first of all, it's the mindset change, right?
mm,
If we believe in Ghana, we believe that things can work, it will definitely work.
mm,
There is also like they always say, when it comes to maintenance and stuff, we are not very good with it. So we're able to, put up some very good infrastructure, but our maintenance culture is poor, and then it ends up, going bad and all that. But they are people who really put much emphasis on importance of maintenance, management, efficiency, right? So I believe these are things, and then the work ethics. They can work from morning till dawn, and these are ethics that I believe we can learn and also use to improve our nation, and then
Mm,
the system as well. So we can adopt some of these positive things. We have different political structure, so that one is an entirely different subject. But there are
mm,
things on how their system is set up, how people, I mean, leaders are put in check and also made to do the right thing. And then you face the law if you do something untoward. So these are
mm,
things that we can learn. So on both sides, the citizens, the mentality, the mindset, leadership roles, responsibilities, that I believe when it comes together, it can really help us to drive and achieve the development that we want in Ghana. Yeah.
mm. Yeah. Any cultural shocks?
Um, that's an interesting question. So I think it was, one of those things was the communal way of eating. You
Mm,
know, I was not so from the part that I came from in Ghana. I
mm,
mean, I'm sure some other tribes or ethnic groups had that, but I mean, mostly I saw this in China where people that communal form of eating with
mm.
different foods, and people had to eat from the same, plate and bowls and all those things with their chopsticks and all that.
Yeah.
So I think definitely that was one of it.
Mm,
And yeah, so I think that was one of the main things. And I would also talk about the the way they did most of their financial transactions.
mm.
Basically your phone was everything. You
Yeah.
could buy things, pay for things with your phone. I was coming from a system where it was mostly cash,
Cash.
you
Yeah.
know, and yeah, and all that. So I think these were two of the major things I can remember of head. Yeah.
Mm,
So that
mm.
was quite shocking because then once your phone, if there's a problem with your phone, then you are stuck, if you
Yeah.
have to pay for something. Yeah. So yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Oh, life outside China. Um, how would you compare the life in Canada to that of China?
So it's two different worlds in terms of the societal makeup,
Mm,
in terms of the system of politics, so and how I would say the the housing systems are different, the transportation systems are different because here you find a lot more people driving their cars are used to that. In
mm,
China, lots of people also have cars, but
yeah.
would prefer using the public transport
Mm,
due to traffic and all that.
yeah.
And so here, yes, you also have the bus system, but I have not really seen that um, transportation mode where in China we had the hello bikes and all those things, right? Scattered all over the place, and then
Yeah.
the electric motorbikes that you can use have access to. Yeah, so
Mm,
here I think we also have the train system that's like China. Um, the public transport, yes, but I think that in China is much more extensive to
mm,
almost every part of the city. Yes,
mm,
and here to some parts of the city, and then you continue with the bus, or if you have a car, you do that. I think when it comes to housing, yes, that's also, I would say, in terms of affordability. yeah, I would say that much more affordable in China comparatively to this place. And
Mm,
then also how the political system is. So you find, people um, wanting to understand more, talking much more about, their leaders and all that. I mean, openly and stuff. Yes, which is also different on the other side. So
mm.
these are some of the changes that you can see, which are quite uh, visible. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay. Um, what do you miss about China?
Oh, lots. um, yes, obviously, I mean, the friends, good friends I met there, uh, who have become like family.
Mm,
Like I said, the transportation system, obviously, I think, if not the best in the world, one of the best. And then also the housing system as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
And
yeah.
the food.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think you can't have the best Chinese food in any part of the world
No, no.
than China, right? The original Chinese food,
The
yeah.
original
So,
Chinese
you know,
food,
I've visited quite a number of Chinese restaurants
but
here.
it can't be compared
And of
to.
course, I mean, in terms of the ingredients, in terms of you know, the things that they'll need in preparing and all that.
Mm,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that's what I'll say. Yeah.
Mm, okay. Felix, any last words?
So I would say that China will always be part of my life. It
Mm,
was a great experience. It was a good place to be. It gave me the opportunity, or it's gave me the step to have the opportunities that I have now because I had my graduate studies there. It was also the place I met my beloved wife. So if for nothing at all, that was a good place to be.
you
And
found love in China.
oh yes, yes, yes. Strangely or happily so, it
Mm,
was the last place I thought that I would meet, my life partner. But God being so good,
mm,
that's why I met her. So
yeah.
I would say it's been a great place. It's been a place that gave opportunities uh, for things that we have now or for the steps that we've made
Mm,
in life so far. Yes.
okay. Mm. Felix, thanks for honoring my invitation. I'm very grateful.
You're welcome. And let me also add that it's been great knowing you. And, when you started this journey of trying to bring experiences of persons who have lived in China, trying to showcase China to the world and letting people know about things that they obviously might not know,
Yeah.
through the things they read or the information they have. I've been, watching closely. You are doing a great job. I'm
Thank
happy.
you.
I had no choice. I had to come to be
Mm.
part of this great story. So I would say that keep it up. And
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, there will be challenges here and there, but you
Yeah.
are doing great. So keep
Thank
it up.
you.
All the
Thank
best. And
you.
hopefully, yeah, we'll meet soon.
Yeah. I'll visit you in
Yeah.
Canada.
All right. All right. You're always welcome. You're always welcome.
Mm,
Yes.
okay. Guys, if you enjoyed watching, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
Bye bye.